Hello, hello. Welcome back to Late Night with Travis Michelle show. I am your host, Travis Michelle. How are you doing on this hump day? How are you doing the last day of the month in November? Can you believe tomorrow is already December 1st? It's just like everything is going so fast. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Make sure that you have your beverage of choice. I have my water mixed with a little bit of Chick-fil-A Sunjoy. I have to admit that in my glass. Make sure you put the children to bed. I tried to put my dog to bed, but he decided to wake up and move around. So get in a relaxed space. Let's have fun. Ask questions. Make sure that you put your comments in the chat. And if you have given StreamYard permission, I will know who you are. And then I can shout you out. I love shouting people out because I really appreciate you taking the time to come through. What is ugly side of the backstory? Yeah, that's what the premise of this show is. Our guests come on and they share their challenges on their road to success. It's great to look at the shiny object, like, oh my gosh, you're successful, and then you're going on your journey, whether it's in business or personal life, and you get stuck, or you have these challenges and you're like hard on yourself, you're beating yourself up, and you don't have the tools, and you don't realize that someone else had to go through it just because they're now at a certain point in their career or in their life, but they had to go through something in order to get there. So our guests share their challenges with us each week, Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Who am I? Travis Michelle. I'm a speaker, woman empowerment speaker to be exact, and I'm also an author. My first book, 2020, Saving Lives While Fighting for Mine, and my chapter was on divorce and the strategies I used to get through it. And then when I was diagnosed last year, November, with cervical cancer, curable, I published Boss Up with Confidence. That's right, third week of chemo and radiation. Some of y'all already know that, but I'm telling you for those who don't. And it's a 30-day journal to help you gain back your confidence one step at a time. It actually gives you the tools. I am going to be placing the link up for you to go on Amazon and definitely get this. It's great gifts for Christmas, for that woman in your life, for the young girl in your life, for you in your life. With that, today we have with us Shayla Washington. I'm really happy to have her as a guest. Just to tell you about her a little bit, she's the founder of Black Girls Talk. And Black Girls Talk, which she will go into a little bit in detail, is on Clubhouse. And in addition to that, Shayla Washington is a mental health advocate and activist. And she's dedicated to creating stronger, safer communities, both online and off. And when I tell you that, she doesn't just talk the talk, she also walks the talk. As a recovering consultant, having spent 20 years in marketing, Shayla now subscribes to the belief that the real flex is blessed and balanced, not booked and busy. Without further ado, I am going to bring to you Shayla Washington. Hello, Shayla.
Hey, Travis, Michelle. Hey, everybody.
Hi, I'm just so excited to see you. And thank you so much again for coming on as a guest. So, one, just tell us a little bit. You said that you were in corporate America for 20 years and you're a recovering consultant. What exactly is a recovering consultant?
So it wasn't corporate America. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. That makes me feel very old, but for 20 years, I worked as a consultant. Initially, I was working, subcontracted for other businesses, and I was doing their copywriting and brand messaging for all of their clients. It was an award-winning graphic design firm. And then I decided that I loved working closely with clients. I wanted to do more of the branding work. So I struck out and did my own company. And I did that for 19 years. And I was overworked, overwhelmed, doing all the things, and finally got to a point where I realized it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. So that's why I say recovering consultant, because I was, doing something that really wasn't, even though I love business, I love strategy, that part of it was not for me. But I know that I had to go through that in order to help the people that I know that I was meant to serve. So that's why I'm recovering.
Nice. Oh, okay, good. And you know what? You talk also about flexing from uh, booked and busy. Like everyone talks about being booked and busy. And we all, a lot of us, not everybody, but most of us, we jump right in that because we're not really thinking about what that means, booked and
Mhm.
busy, as opposed to blessed and balanced. Where was that turning point when you had that aha moment?
I don't know that it was an aha. It was kind of, it was kind of there I was sitting, had completely lost my mental health, my physical health, everything was falling apart. It wasn't exactly aha. It was it was oh my goodness. And for me, I had to, in order to get to the place I needed to be, I had to find that balance in all parts of my life. And it was in getting stronger when it comes to my faith, getting stronger in all of the relationships in my life and my relationship with myself, and really finding out who I am. That's when I found the balance. And that's when I was able to walk away from a lot of the things that I was doing in my business and my life that did not serve me anymore. Yes, I was aiming for the booked and busy all the time, but busy was kind of like busy work. Like I'm doing all this work all the time, but am I actually achieving anything, or am I just going through the motions and just being that hamster on the wheel, just keep going, going, going and not getting anywhere? And a lot of people are stuck doing that, or they're spending all their time, doing the hustle and grind and going after clients and doing all of that to their own detriment, not realizing that they're going after the wrong target audience, or they're doing like the marketing that doesn't resonate with them and what is best for their personality and who they are. So for me, blessed and balanced came from me being in a place where I was able to say no to things. I was able to walk in what I know that I am good at, not just good at, awesome at, and feel confident in that, and know that I was blessed to do like amazing things for myself and for other people. But I had to learn to accept that and then walk in it, and just be confident and always strive to have that balance and alignment. And I say always strive because it is, I get off track sometimes, but I have to pull myself back in and have people around me that are able to put me back, and remind me of who I am and where I should be walking.
That blessed and balanced. You have four, correct?
Mhm.
Four beautiful children. And we, those of us who are parents or have grandchildren or nieces, cousins, what have you, how do you balance that? And, with you staying balanced,
Mhm.
right? You're blessed because we're here, but how do you keep that balance between being an entrepreneur and raising your children? Because they
Yeah,
can pull on you.
they can. My work as an entrepreneur has changed a lot throughout the years, and a lot of those changes came because of the different stages that my kids were in. So when they were younger, my work looked a lot different because I was catering to, there were babies I was holding, and, feeding times and all of those things all the time. I was doing volunteering at the schools. Like, so much has changed over the years based on what the kids were doing. When I started off as an entrepreneur, my goal was I want to be there. I want to be there for all the things. I didn't want to work outside of the home because I wanted to be able to see all the things. And then with the work that I was doing and how much I was working, I was missing all the things still, because I was working with clients that were like demanding all of my time, and I was staying up till like 6 in the morning trying to get and things in by deadline, and then getting up at 7 to get everybody ready for school. So things changed as the kids got older and as I got wiser about how I was running my business and the things that I was doing. But I also have a really, really, really good support system. My
Mm.
ex-husband, even though we're not married, he is amazing with the kids and making sure that he's spending time with them. He takes them when I'm not able to, or when I have stuff that I'm working on, or if he can't, then his parents are close by and they're able to jump in and help out. So I do have a lot of help. My difficulty, and I think a lot of women do it, my difficulty is asking for help, remembering to ask for help. A lot of times I don't do that. So I have to give myself that constant reminder that, one, I'm worthy of asking, but also that, those people are there and willing to help me. So take advantage of the opportunity to use those people, not use them, but to call on those people as I
Right.
need them.
And that's so good because you're actually showing your children
Mhm.
how to be blessed and balanced, because we can tell them, what is the old saying, do as I say, not as I do. But guess what, they're going to do more as you do, less than as you say. So
Exactly.
you're giving them those tools that they will need and strategies for life. And you saying you take care of yourself. Of course, we have to work better on asking for help, but we're
Mhm.
Black women. So that automatically, we know that it's tough for us to do
Right.
that. But when we stay aware of it and we're cognizant, right, then we have the opportunity to make change for the better. So, I mean, I think that is really, really good. I know you're out here in these social media streets,
Mhm.
Clubhouse, especially. We both have been out here. I didn't come on though until January 2021. And you've been on here, I think, just as long, if not longer than, I think you were on longer than that,
Just
right?
maybe December 2020. Yes,
Yes,
maybe a
right.
month
I
ago. Yeah.
came exactly, and I came on a couple of weeks after that. And I know you were in, used to be Black Girls Boss.
Mhm.
What prompted you to start a club on Clubhouse called Black Girls Boss?
So Black Girl Boss actually was started because of a couple of different things that I saw. One, we had the huge girl boss movement that came about, and I think it was 2013 that kind of really started. The book was released, and then it's picked up steam. The movement did over the years. And I was frustrated because I saw that year after year, Black women we were starting businesses at a faster rate than everyone else, year after year. But then here was this movement where we weren't being represented. You didn't see us. And then there was, groups and stuff online for female entrepreneurs, but very limited resources for Black female entrepreneurs, and very few groups for us, meant just for us, together, because our needs are different and our demands are different. So I wanted to have a community that was built just for us, and to be able to provide all the things that I was seeing that predominantly white groups were providing for their audience that we were missing out on. So I was able to provide all kinds of resources and have experts come in with their information on a regular basis and just give women everything they needed to build successful, sustainable businesses for themselves. So that's what Black Girl Boss was. And it morphed into Black Girls Talk, because as I was on Clubhouse, as I stumbled upon Clubhouse, I started finding myself in rooms and really finding my voice on that platform. Black Girl Boss, for anyone who's been around since that time, you'll know that I wasn't showing up in the business a lot. There were times that I'd disappear for a long time and then come back into it, and completely new Instagram and all of these things. But I wasn't being true to myself in that business, and definitely not true to what the brand was supposed to represent, and that you're not alone. You're not doing it by yourself. You have this support of all of the women around you to help get these things done. So when I was on Clubhouse, I kind of learned what sisterhood is in that space, while also finding my voice and being comfortable with having conversations that I always knew were important for us to have, but I didn't feel comfortable in doing it in the space that I had originally created, by no fault of the women in that community, but I just wasn't comfortable in myself. And there was a process that I had to go through in order to get to where Black Girls Talk is now. So Black Girls Talk was the transition, because I no longer wanted it to be just business. There were so many other things that we need to talk about. And I wanted to open the platform for that, for us to have all the conversations that we're missing out on, because we're more than our businesses. We're more than us as moms, as wives, as all of these things. And we need a space to be able to talk about it.
Well, that is great. I want to recognize before we go on, we have Ebony in the house. Thank you. She's here for it. That's the Ratchet Sage. Thank you so much. We have Kayron who's here. Thank you so much. And those of you who are either looking at the replays or your name is not showing up, thank you so much for being here with us tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. Yeah, Black Girls Talk. I joined Black Girls Talk on Clubhouse. And you know what? I had to separate myself from certain groups because they were becoming toxic. And I was like, but the Black girl, that, and I'm a Black girl. So let me just see, at least let me give it an opportunity. And I'm so glad that I did. As Ebony was saying in the comments, Black Girl Boss was magical, but now Black Girls Talk is just a whole nother level. And as that visionary and founder, I want to give you your flowers and thank you for that, because you actually bring women together who have different types of, business acumen, personalities. But when we get in there, it's just about sharing.
Mm-hmm.
It's about everybody helping each other. There's no competition. And it is a safe place for you to share what you feel safe to share.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. When we get on there, we don't know how to get off of there. But you can solve the world's problems on there. I'm telling you guys, that's what you should do. So definitely make sure that you, I want to give your link again, www.link. Oh, tree. I spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
Link tree. Yeah. Okay. And I got this one wrong too. Link LINK. That's why, because I didn't want to wear my glasses, guys, because I'm showing off my eyelashes. .ee/black girl minus the I Girls Talk. So thank you. Hi, Z is in the house. Thank you so much. And and as they show up, because the names that I did mention, these are queens, strong Black women who are entrepreneurs, and they're coming on to support. And this is what the vision that Shayla has. She shares it all the time, and I'm telling you, she just brings us together. And you can be in other rooms, other places, and it can become toxic. Not there, not at all. We're always learning. And you know what? You have the opportunity to disagree. And we should be able to have those conversations. Just because we're Black doesn't mean that we have to agree on every single thing. We have to have our own independent, you know, minds, right? We do. So with that, I'd like you to share before we go on it, just where we can find you. Is it, because you're on so many platforms, and what do you have coming up?
Oh my goodness. So we're working on something really big for January. So as I said in the room earlier today, make sure you guys are marking your calendar for January 15th and 16th, Martin Luther King Day. But where you can find me online, I feel like part of me feels like I owe Clubhouse a little bit, because that is where, like I said, I found my voice. So many other women have said the same, where we created this sisterhood that's on a different level than we've ever had. So that is the main hub for us right now, is Clubhouse. And I'm really enjoying this space and being able to have this area where people feel comfortable in expressing themselves in that way. So that's why Clubhouse is the main platform where we are. I am going to be opening up the Facebook group again soon. So that's going to be coming in the new year, 2023. We'll be opening up the Facebook group again so that everyone has more opportunities to engage. I know sometimes people just prefer to chat, or they'll like to throw up a different kind of post rather than just the audio stuff all the time. So, and there's still audio on Facebook as well. But right now, Clubhouse is our main platform, and then we'll be moving to expanding to, not moving to, Facebook as well in the new year.
That is awesome. We have the link up properly now. www.linktr.ee/ or /.
It's a slash.
It's a slash, guys. BLACKGRLSTALK without the I, Black Girls Talk. So that is good. Now, do you see yourself having events as well?
Well,
throw that
a
in there.
really forceful person came in on day one and said, "When are we doing events?" I don't know who she was. She just came in with this force and said, "When is the first event? When's the retreat?" So yes, events were something that I ran away from for the longest time. But I think a lot of that was me being so attached to the kids. I have to be there all the time. And now that they're older and more independent, and I know that their dad can handle me being gone for, longer stretches of time, then I'm at a point where I'm comfortable leaving them and we can do these events, get them going. I am very adamant about the fact that we have virtual events as well to really even that out, because I am a mom. I do live way out, far away from everyone else. I'm used to not being able to attend things because of that. So I want to always remember women who are in the same position and may not be able to go off different places, and provide them with opportunities to connect virtually.
Okay. And that's great because, I know COVID was awful. I've lost dear friends and family, but there were some upsides to it. And that is that we're able to harness that technology, right?
Yes. Yes.
They were poo-pooing and putting off and pushing off and pushing off. Now we can actually utilize that because we can do in person and we can do Zoom and at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just a virtual event or just an in-person. You can actually benefit from both.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so appreciated. Uh, can you just share with us your activism?
Oh my goodness. So I believe for me, it began, I don't know, many, many, many years ago. I just hadn't really accepted it for a long time. But I've always been that person that liked to, even though at the time I wasn't comfortable enough speaking up for other people. I always knew in the back of the mind, in my mind, when things were wrong and that something needed to be said. I always joke that I was like the cheerleader that was lip syncing the whole time. Like I wasn't confident in my voice. So I finally got to a point where when I realized that entrepreneurship wasn't something that really lit a fire under me, um,
Hmm.
it was when I was approached by a political party to do some communications for them, and I'm, sending my information back to them and talking to them about all the things that I see wrong and the reasons that I'm not really comfortable working with them. And I thought, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I was dancing on the wrong stage the whole time. So I really fell in love with being able to use my voice to speak up for the people that weren't comfortable speaking up or didn't quite know what to say, when to say it, who to say it to, the fact that they could make changes. But for me to have access to different rooms and a seat at the table so I could hear
Hmm.
the voices of those people and share their stories and advocate for changes that need to be made. So that's when I really discovered that that was for me. And me just wanting to advocate for the Black community, I mean, that came obviously from my work with Black Girl Boss and Black Girls Talk. But then 2020 came around and all the things that were happening then, I just
Right.
really found a call to do something and to say something. And so all of those things kind of led up to this is what I am, this is who I am and what I should be doing, and seeing the power in being able to speak to people in power and have changes made. I'm not I don't do marches, I don't do all of those things. I like to have a seat at the table. I like to talk to them in small groups or one-on-one and have these really productive conversations and make changes happen.
Wow, and that is, thank you for explaining that, because when people think of an activist, they think that you're out in the front with the flag,
Mhm.
protesting with the bullhorn, have the shirts on, and there are different ways to be
Mhm.
an activist. So having that one-on-one and not even changing that person's mind, but opening up their
Yes.
mind, right?
Mhm.
Uh, so for transformation, just an awareness. And, so how does that, how are you sharing that with your children? And do you find that at any time you have to tread lightly?
Yes. I think my kids saw it in me before I did. I know they saw it in me before I did. My mother works with the homeless population, and I was writing something in 2020, and my one son said to me, like, this is your thing, like homelessness is for mama. They call my mom for mama. Like, this is your thing. And I kind of brushed it off at the time, but later on, I'm like, he's right. He was really right. But I do find myself now looking at things a little differently. I see the fact that there are different entities that don't necessarily like the changes that I'm advocating for. I live in a very small community that is not very diverse. And so I think that's the reason that I choose to have these conversations in small settings and not do the rallies and all of those things, because my family feels the blowback whenever there's like a large uproar or anything like that. It's something that's going to come back onto my family directly, because now we're surrounded by all of these people who have very harsh opinions about the Black community, and that's something we have to live in day to day. My kids have to go to school with those, kids. And so it made me very aware of how I need to move in these streets and how I'm going to advocate for the things that I believe in. So I'm always thinking of my kids and keeping them safe from as much as I can from the things that are out there, that the work that I do could impact them in their daily lives.
Wow, that's really good, and it's also giving them those life tools that they
Mhm.
need, and to be able to have conversations that may be difficult,
Mhm.
but that there's a way to have them and maintain their safety, but also stand up 10 toes down, as we like to say now in 2020,
Mhm.
right? Um, Miss L, thank you so much for popping in. She says, am I hearing a Black Girls Talk Empowerment Summit? I'm just saying. And
Yes,
Ebony,
Mel, are you Miss
yes,
L? Is that you putting that in the chat?
you see, it was Miss L. It wasn't me this time. It was not me this time. But, when you have like-minded women get
Mhm.
together, um, we're gonna cross-pollinate,
Mhm.
because it's not as though one person is the only one that ever thought of it. Someone else may think of a different piece of it, but it all comes down to a Black Girls Empowerment Summit. Excuse me. Let me just excuse me. Mm.
Yeah.
And this is what we do. We get on here, on Clubhouse, and we share ideas. We help each other to better ourselves as as Black women,
Mhm.
which then, guess what? It spills out into our communities, because it always starts with us. You can't do anything else unless it starts with you
Mhm.
before we go running out to someone else.
Yeah.
So, what steps can you give the audience, uh, or tips to share if they are interested in being an activist, but they don't have to stand out in front of the crowds and protesting? Because we have, let your fingers do the walking too,
Mhm.
right? We have email, etc. But if they wanted to get started, how would, what advice would you give them?
I think it's kind of like you just said, it starts at home. Everyone always talks about influencers and how much influence we talked about that earlier they have over our kids, but you are your child's first influencer. And I feel like when we're talking about the changes that we can make, first we have to start within with ourselves and then move to our households. Like, what changes can we make within our homes, to the people, to the children, to our loved ones, whoever's in the house with us. What changes can we make there? What conversations should we be having in the home to prepare them for what's going on outside of the home? And then move to our greater community. What changes need to be made there? I know we had a conversation before in the Black Girls Talk house where I I shared that I believe the more you feel that you can't speak up in any given situation, the more your voice is needed. So, looking at your community and again in your home as well, I always say to my kids, like, if there's ever a time where you feel that you can't come to me about something, like, I want them to know that they can come to me. And if they feel that they can't, then there's something that we need to fix there. So I always encourage people to think of the places that they go on a daily basis, even if it's online on social media, and think of the different ways that you can use your voice to talk about the things that you see are problems. Just talk about it. Start the conversation with people. Make them think. You don't have to change their minds, but make people think. And I think having conversations is where everything starts. Talk, listen, and hear other perspectives. Be willing to shift a little bit as you learn more things about other people. but speak up and keep speaking and getting stronger in your voice, and finding ways to get to the people who are the decision makers, and keep using the voice that you have in the way that you feel comfortable doing it. If it's writing, if it's,
Yeah.
speaking engagements, there's so many different ways to do it where you don't have to be out marching or doing all the things, but you can still get your steps in if you want, if that's how you choose to do it. But don't define activism just as that. There's so many ways that we can do it and make a big impact.
Thank you for being our guest today. How can people contact you on Clubhouse? Like, is there a club? Is it a house? You have the house now. How would they find the our community of Black girls
So
without going straight?
through the link, you say without the link tree?
Right, because some people just go have Clubhouse, right?
You said without Clubhouse? I'm sorry.
No, if they go directly to Clubhouse,
Uh-huh.
how would they find?
If they go directly to Clubhouse, you can search for Shayla Washington, or you can search for Black Girls Talk. And if you search for Black Girls Talk, you will find our club and you will find our house. You are welcome in both, but the house is where we're doing all of our activity now. And I believe the wait list is turned off right now, but you can just request an invitation to come on in, and one of our wonderful admin will let you in.
Great. This has been a good conversation. I'm really thankful because I've learned a lot more about you, and we definitely know a little bit about each other. But it's always nice to hear more. And I'm glad that you know, you had a vision and you birthed it. A lot of times we have visions and we do nothing about it.
Mhm.
And you know what? There are so many dreams in the cemetery. That's what Les Brown says. You want to find all these dreams, they're in the cemetery, and you did not let that happen. You're walking the talk. You're actually building a community of Black women. Yeah, Black women that don't get along, can't do anything together, blah, blah, blah. Don't believe all the rhetoric. Just stop it. Because I can tell you right now, we have powerhouse women,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's on their own walk, and they are coming in and sharing. And so you just never know who will pop in. And Shayla is always popping in, always joining,
That
having
is the best way to reach me. No phone call, no email, just start a room on Clubhouse. I'll show up.
exactly like me, who wasn't now. Sometimes I can be a little off with my tech, and I'm always starting a room. It's like a pop up, and I was like, oh, I just meant for a minute, and next thing you know,
13 hours later.
exactly. But thank you again for being a guest on Late Night with Travis Michelle every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Remember, it is time for you to take time for you. It is time for you to make you a priority. It's Christmas, guys. There's New Year's. There's next year. There's next month. What steps are you taking? We talked about journaling. Well, guess what? I have the journal for you. Boss Up with Confidence, 30-day journal to help you gain back your confidence one step at a time. And it's more than even just your confidence. It's giving you actual blueprint on how are you thinking? How are you changing your thinking? Right? Because that's what it is. Sometimes we have to change our thoughts. We have to go from um, being booked and busy to blessed and balanced. Well, that means that somewhere along the line, you had to connect, you had to strategize, you had to have some clarity, you had to say, hey, I need to W, be a willing participant, A, take some action steps, L, love yourself. And what does that mean? It means that you forgive yourself, which leads to freedom and redemption, which is walking through your journey, and K, kicking butt unapologetically. And that's exactly what Shayla, our guest, Washington, has done today. She has been very cognizant, aware of there needs to be a change, what action steps need to be taken, but she had to do the work on herself first. And because she loves herself, she's it's easier to love other people. And then she doesn't apologize. She kicks butt unapologetically all the time. So thank you so much. Here's the link that you can go and purchase your journal for that woman, that young girl in your life, and for yourself. Until next week, late night with Travis Michelle. I am so excited about some things that will be going on that's being changed, and I want to give a special shout out to um, my my mentor, Collado. Thank you so much for always snatching my edges and keeping me straight. So we will have some changes coming up, and I'm really excited about it. Every night, late night with Travis Michelle, Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell people about it. Grab your drink of choice. This is my Sun Joy, guys, and my water, because you know my Sun Joy is Chick-fil-A. But whatever that is for you, put your bonnet on, get comfortable, and let's just have some conversations instead of disagreeing and you say you're having a debate. Let's just have a conversation. Let's learn and grow together so that we can be empowered, right? Which will lead to love, success, and wealth. Again, thank you so much. Until next week, this is Travis Michelle, your late night host. Guess what? Y'all know how it goes. I'm too much for some, not enough for others. But guess what? I'm always just right for me. Shayla, thank you so much, Queen, for being a guest and sharing all your information and, just always being who you are all the time. Ebony, I see you, the Ratchet Sage. Thank you so much. You're going to get on here. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Miss L, really appreciate you. Z, Kron, and those of you who I don't know your names or are on replays, I'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night.